Ta-da, there we are.
So thank you for the reminders about how the law works.
Thank you. I hope it's clear for you as it was for me.
Yes. Simple and true.
Yeah, it is. It is. And easy when we let it be easy.
That's the thing. Sometimes we can fight ourselves and create more challenges than we realize that we're doing.
And yeah. And we do that so we can find our way out.
Yep.
Did you say something, Sam? I didn't quite catch it.
That was a great reminder.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it came to me, these 4 chapters all of a sudden. I've never had the privilege, and Lisa was there when Thumb and I were discussing who was going to speak today.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was really cute because I was under the impression, 100% under the impression, that I would be doing these 3 because Thumb was going to do something on the week that she was going to speak. I said, I'm good doing 3 weeks, but doing these 3 for me has been so eye-opening because instead of doing every other one, I got like the full impact of, wow, Holmes is really bringing to us a whole new creation story. Philosophically, scientifically, religiously, in every way we can think of, than religion has done. You know? So I'm just so grateful. What a master he has been for us all. He's not dead. His words are still so alive for us.
Yeah.
Well, you teach it well, Dwight.
Oh, thank you.
And
I let Holmes do it this time.
I know Thelma teaches it very well. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, she's still my favorite teacher. Yep.
Mine too.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I share that totally 100% with her because she's really a master as its Holmes. And I don't say that just because I love her.
You guys
Maybe
both
because
are.
of her, right?
Well, one feeds the other. And that's,
Yes, we do.
you know, why when we join with others, it unifies, you know. It's like I heard someone say once, you know, if you have a heavy weight and you have one string that's supporting that heavy weight, you know, it's challenging with that string. But if you take several strings and you wind them together, that's how you make a rope.
Mhm.
And then that rope can better support that heavy weight. And when so you have other people that you can share what you're going through with, and you know, it can make that heavy weight, you know, not be so daunting. And the key though is that we don't stay stuck in talking about how heavy the weight is, and we allow ourselves to move into healing about how we got there. You know, where we move past the, you know, what's now always will be, the blaming, and then, you know, feel the feelings before the anger, give ourselves that, or you can, and then take responsibility for our part. What did we do or not do that put us here? Because if we only see what others are doing, then they have all the power, but only because we're giving it to them. So, and when we see what we're creating with our thoughts, see, then we can take better responsibility for what we're thinking and therefore what we're experiencing. So your talk today reminds us of the importance of paying attention to our thoughts.
Yeah.
Is that what I want? What's that, Lisa?
Well said.
Yeah,
That was
well said, John Anthony, definitely, yeah.
I like the rope. And Dwight and Thelma are my rope.
Yeah.
When
Thank you.
You add to our rope.
Mhm.
Thanks.
We can
I
do the
also-
rope-a-dope.
I also heard it, I think it's the natural emblem with the eagle having several arrows in one of its claws. And you can take one arrow and you can break it. But if you take a bunch of arrows and try to break it, again, just like the bonding, because you have more working against you, it takes more effort to do it. So there's strength in the numbers, there's strength in community. And we get to disperse when we have feelings and we can share it with others and disperse that. We're giving more of it away, and our community can give feedback to help us disperse even more, to neutralize it from within.
Yeah.
That's the real healing. When we overcome anything, we have done a magnificent work of healing.
Yeah, that concept of the many arrows was taken from the Native Americans back when we were forming the Constitution and all those things. And they, believe in that concept, well before we came up with it.
Right. I knew it came from Native American. I just wasn't going to go that far, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So important to give credence to our heritage.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is to remember that people that disagree with us, especially like politically, they aren't crazy. They're frightened
Oh, really?
people. They're frightened. They're fearful of losing something that they have, or fearful of not getting something that they desire. And we have to be mindful when we engage with them that we're not coming from our fear, because then we're just feeding each other's fears and we're just creating more fear with our thinking and then our feelings and our attitude and our experiences. And it's, not easy sometimes to stay in your love when someone or something else is coming from their fear. And, but that's so important when we can do that.
For me, that's where the path of least resistance comes loud and clear, because when we're coming from love, it's always showing us the path of least resistance. Because in love, there is no resistance. And it may be just, I'm not going to participate in this argument. And that disperses it, dispenses it, which is a loving thing to do. Good point, John Anthony. We have so much wisdom.
Yes, good point talking about fear.
Yeah,
That really compiles very fast. And you're right, if we change it to love, it dissipates it.
We fall into fear so easily because we have been trained so well, to fear what we don't understand. And it just almost seems like a way of life. We're taught to fear
change.
that something's going to jump out at us.
Yes.
That disease is just waiting to attack us. And so everything is fear, fear, fear. And what is the opposite of fear?
Love.
Yeah. And faith. Faith in the positive. But it takes practice to get to the point where it becomes more natural to expect good rather than evil.
Expect it beyond any shadow of doubt. So the more faith for good we put into it, there is no room for doubt. Doubt can't come in. If it does, it says, oh, I need to believe this more. I need to trust it more. So everything works for us when we stay open to possibilities.
And when we understand those dynamics, then we can make better use of them.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
On Thursday, I saw on the news something that Goldie Hawn, a movement that she's doing with kids called mindup.org.
Wow.
Great.
Love it.
And it teaches kids to have brain breaks where
Have
they
what again?
focus. Brain breaks, BRAIN breaks, where you give your brain a break because we're thinking all the time. And the way that they do it is through focusing on your breathing and just breathing in and, exhaling, inhaling. And, if you do it so that your diaphragm is expanding fully, your diaphragm presses against the vagus nerve that goes down our back and then also comes around, and it calms you down. And there's a really cute thing that they set up to explain the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, and the hippocampus parts of the brain. And, they have the amygdala as a barking dog, and it's in the center of our brain. And when we get really frightened, like for protection, like from bears and tigers and things like that, the amygdala takes over, and it's like this barking dog that is screaming. And what it's doing is it's coming from the fight, flight, or freeze reaction to fear. And if you take that calming brain break, where you focus on your breathing, then you're shifting your thoughts and your focus on your breathing. It's also calming you down, and then you're able to think about. You're able to use the prefrontal cortex. They used an example. If you hold your palm up and put your thumb in across your palm, the thumb is symbolic of the amygdala. And then if you bring your fingers down to encase your thumb, that is the prefrontal cortex. And when we are reacting in our fear, the amygdala, the thumb, the barking dog takes over. And then we are not able to be in touch with the fingers, which are the symbolic of the prefrontal cortex, where we do our thinking. So by taking that breathing break, it allows you to get back in touch with the thinking part of the brain. And then you can also better access the hippocampus, which extends behind the amygdala. And that's where we have our memory. And so the amygdala is the barking dog, the prefrontal cortex is the wise owl, and then the hippocampus is the elephant. And so when they explain this to children on that level, they see the importance of our thinking and the importance of taking control of our thinking so that we don't let that barking dog, run away with us and create more fear unknowingly. And it's really, a great way to expose children to how the brain works. And it's also a way to expose adults, because, most adults don't understand that dynamic of how those three
Yes.
parts of the brain connect.
Mhm.
And, so it's a really, really, good movement. I'm really excited
I
about it.
love her anyway. Yeah, she's so good.
Excuse me.
And the frontal part is the making choice. So, I think that's the big shift that, wow, I can choose. And I think that's what the breathing does. It gives us that pause away from the barking dog of taking the fear away from it and coming back into control. And now I can think clearly from a different perspective than the fear, flight, or freeze.
Mhm.
So, John Anthony, what you just explained would be really super helpful for the people that I work with. Where would I find that in a way that I could share it with 2,000 other people?
You could only do it with 1,999. You wouldn't be able to do the 2,000.
Unit after that.
If you go to mindup.org,
Mind up.
it
Okay.
has some things that, and you scroll down a little bit, there's some videos that talk about it. Do you have an iPhone?
No, I have an Android.
Okay. Because I video, the piece that I saw was on Morning Joe on MSNBC on Thursday, and I videotaped it with my camera because I couldn't record it. It was already, when you have the DVR, you can go back and see things that you've just watched, but you can't record that. You can only record the new stuff. And so I went back and videotaped it. And it's, about 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes or something like that. But Goldie Hawn did a really good job of explaining the connection there of all of that. And, but, they have things, videos, and then it takes you to YouTube if you watch the videos. And then Dr. Daniel Siegel is someone who's been studying the brain and working with children. And, the neat thing is all of this is evidence-based material, to show that, and demonstrate that it's helped people to get control of their lives, by getting control of their thinking. And it's it's very empowering for everybody to, to understand yourself better, so that you're just not reacting to it and saying, well, that's just the way I am. No, it's which part of the brain do I want to use? What's that, Dwight?
Also explain
What's that?
really well what.
I'm sorry, Sam's talking. What, Sam?
No, I was just saying it explains really well what's going on with this chemical influence of like some of these, benzo drugs, right? That they really accentuate, like when they're not happy or when they're not getting the right dosage or anything else is going on, causing all this grief that it does for people. It's really like the barking dog.
The barking dog.
And so it's preventing access to everything else. It's like forefront. And yeah, no, it's a great explanation. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Windup.org, that's going to be a definite go-to next time I'm online.
Yeah, that's so helpful. The explanation that when the barking dog is so loud that we can't think.
Right.
Having it at a child level is going to be very helpful for the newcomer, because I think of someone said they learned to speak American by reading the Jane and Spot, Dick, Jane, and Spot stories, that she learned enough English and she kept reading the beginning books for kids. And so, what a great way for anything, instead of saying, well, that's too immature or too kiddish for me. But if that's a level I can receive it at, it's a very powerful tool.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you, Johnny. That's a very powerful thing to bring into this time, into the
It
tour.
is.
Yeah, I thought so too. That's why, as we were talking, I just wanted to share it.
So I could probably look for Goldie Hawn on Morning Joe. Google that. I could probably find the interview, couldn't I?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
That's one way. It's amazing what you can find on the internet these days.
I just watch
Yeah.
people do it and I say, God, they do it. So,
But if, it may be on demand, if you have Comcast or something like that, and where you could look it up. I haven't tried that. But, I
You said
tried to
you-
send
you said something NBC, but you said something before that.
MSNBC.
Oh, Microsoft.
Well, you can, those letters, yeah, I don't know that it's related to Microsoft.
Yeah, I wonder. It's such a monopoly.
Mhm.
I think it's just a branch of
Yeah.
NBC, just like CNBC, does stocks and things. It's just their news outlet that just devoted strictly to news.
Got it.
It's the network that Rachel Maddow is on. If you've ever watched her,
It's pretty incredible.
yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She gives a perspective of the news that is so in-depth and different, and goes back to history and brings it, so often, that it's just really fascinating. It helps you to understand how you got to this particular situation that you're in.
I guess that's it. I really enjoyed this time. This has been really, really taking the talk and even higher, especially the things that you brought in, John Anthony, enjoying the relationship and this mind up, and bringing Goldie Hawn into it just adds, because her heart, her being is just so youthful. It's so youthful and on target.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, you guys have a wonderful day.
We'll
Thank
do
you.
that.
Okay,
Thank
you too.
You too. You too, John Anthony.
Take care.
Nice